Hello, good morning, viewers. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Balde. We are back again on another edition of QTV this morning. And on the platform, I am with my dear Julde Njai. Julde, how are you?
I am fine, Balde.
How is Ramadan going?
Alhamdulillah, it's treating me well. So far, so good. And I'm so happy to share the platform with you once more. I mean, we really missed you, and even the viewers, everyone else missed you around here. So I'm fine. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, thank you very much. I miss all of you too. I mean, you know, Alhamdulillah, we are back again. I mean, to share the same platform and educate our viewers, you know.
And I must admit, Turkey did you so well. I mean, oh, look at your glowing skin.
No,
Mashallah.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. It was really a great experience for me, Jordan.
Okay.
I mean, you know, moving to another country like Turkey. I mean, a country that is known for development and known for its mark when it comes to the global stage. So it's important to go and experience. I was also able to meet a couple of very prominent people, like the mayor,
Mashallah.
the Gambian councillor, you know, Mr. Caracas, and the whole team. So it was really a very good one. And the AGA student, the Gambia Students Association in Turkey
I saw the report.
Yes.
It was a really good report. Wow.
It was also a pleasure to meet them. You know, they were very happy, you know, to be on QTV. In fact, they came to my apartment to come and, you know, do the interview with me. So it was really wonderful, Julde, and great experience.
Diversity. And, I know you have a lot of experience.
Looking forward to, I mean, especially the university students too. I was at the Tikaret University. I met most of their professors. In fact, I had an interview with some of their professors. And, you know, they were very happy. You know, and it will surprise you to know, Julde, these people, they regard journalists, they give them very high regards in their country. So once you are a journalist, they open all the doors for you, and in fact, I mean, they will be ready to talk to you at any time. So was great. Alhamdulillah.
Mashallah. I'm glad you had fun. I mean, you changed environment and you met new friends. And Turkey, I don't know whether it's the time of the season, but it's really a cultural country where they have this diversity of different cultures and people. It's really a nice country.
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
It's nice.
Yeah, so viewers, we are back and we will do the usual thing again, you know, rolling the program, I mean, to conquer your day for you. And we'll be taking a look at the African code. From the African code, we'll be talking to the Gambia Police PRO on safety and security during the fasting period. As you know, at this time, tempers are always hot. Tempers are boiling. And people are always mad at each other at some point. So it's important for us to tighten some of the security and also to see some of the lapses. As you know, when it is Ramadan, the first 10 days, we're getting to the second 10 days, and very soon it will be Korite. And there are a lot of activities that happen in the market, you know, around our homes. So it's important for securities to be tightened up to make sure the citizens are protected. And we'll be talking to the police PRO, and he will take us through the stand of the Gambia Police Force. So it will be important also to go through the newspaper review, and Mr. Malika, the general manager of QTV, would be here, I mean, to review the papers with us, Julde. So, Julde, the proverb.
So, Balde, our African proverb this morning, it's a Hausa one actually.
Oh, Hausa?
Yeah, and it reads, "The eyes that see the king no longer fear the clerk."
The eyes that see the king no longer fear the clerk.
Meaning but yoo xam ne daal dañ gis nguur gi wala président bi wala buur bi du gaay duñ du ragalaate ku mel ni Edo ñoom Edo people of less status and everything.
Madam, if you are used to dining with lions.
Yes.
You don't need to worry when dogs bark.
Absolutely.
You understand?
That's a perfect interpretation
when
there.
you enter in the lion den,
yeah.
and you have supper with the lions, you don't need to worry when you go out in the street and street dogs are barking at you. I mean, all that you do is to focus because you have experienced a lot in life.
In life, yeah.
You know, so it's telling you more of an individual experience, Julde.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are experiences that will teach us certain things, and it makes us to be very strong individuals in the future. You know, there are other experiences, Julde, they will break you.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they will mold you again to be stronger. When you talk to certain people, they'll tell you, I've gone through things, you know, and these things, they didn't kill me, but they made me stronger.
Yeah.
Fumajar, kufajar, tahaban. You understand? I heard about, I hear that proverb all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is what it is.
It is what it is. Like you said, I mean, it's about, for me, I would take it in the context of knowledge and education. If you are that, if you have that knowledge and education and you're exposed, I mean, you are not easily intimidated by these small things that usually move people, because obviously you know your rights and responsibilities as a citizen because you read and you know exactly what the law says. A classical example of that is that the other day I was riding with my friend. The person just came in the country, and then, you know, he bought a new car, so he wanted to test the car to see. So while we were going, some of the, you know, patrol team, night patrol team, just stopped us, and the other one was just shouting, "Why are you driving without license and everything?" You know, he was just shouting the way he was doing it. So we were both calm, and he shouted and shouted, and we did not respond. So the colleague of his came and it was like, you know that you should not be driving without having all your papers intact. And I was like, it's not like we don't have our papers intact. I mean, this vehicle was just bought today, so we were just testing the vehicle, and in fact, all the receipts of the, you know, various documents are here. You know, your colleague did not take the time to actually study or ask us before started shouting and everything. So it goes to show that if you know your rights and responsibilities, you're not easily intimidated. So, and I think it's always very important for every citizen to know your rights, but as well as your responsibilities to be able to handle any situation that comes your way. If not, I mean, you will be exploited. People tend to exploit you, especially my very good friends who are the drivers. They're very good at exploiting people. Piero can tell you very well that I'm a fan of calling him and telling him, why are drivers overcharging people? What is happening? Is it that there has been an increase in fares or whatever? So, I mean, yeah, it's good that you know your boundaries. It's good that you learn to be educated and to be exposed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's important to know your boundaries. You
Absolutely.
know, what boundaries create is to make the path very smooth for each and every person.
Yeah.
You know. And at this point, it will be important for us to engage the police, PRO, ASP, Modu Musa Sisaho. PRO, how are you? Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Mubarak, thank you.
How have you been?
It's been
not a lot of activities, I know.
Exactly. Not easy at all. Like
PRO,
Ramadan be, you know, I sent alhamdulillah.
Yeah, but we don't expect you to sauna. We are paying you at the end of the time, PRO. We are giving you our money at the end of the month.
It's part of the job.
So we don't expect you to sauna.
But the PRO suñ nit la de.
Yeah, no, suñ waay la. You know, certain incidents happen and you reach him directly.
Yeah.
You know.
He's always available.
He is always available.
Yeah.
And, you know, PRO, I think that is a thing that everybody should, I mean, commend you for.
Thank you.
Because you are reachable. You would have, pass through different procedure to get to the PRO.
Yeah,
but
sure.
you call him direct and,
He
I mean, you talk to the PR. You text him and he replied you back. And I think that is good. That's how, if you want to change the narrative in the security sector, this is where we should start. Let's communicate.
I think it is, like you mentioned, I think a few weeks ago, you texted me regarding the ongoing...
An incident.
An incident in around Tanje. Our officers, traffic officers were involved in, you know, and I think that's important because we want to be accessible so that we can also get feedback. and information from the public. That's the only way that we'll be able to address some of these concerns, promptly. You know, so it was good. The same thing, similarly, Julie also would call or text. She was in a bus taxi, and she was like, "Sisa, what is happening? Is it that the tariff have been increased?" I'm like, "What tariff?" Say from Westfield to Brikama, sorry, from Serekunda to Brikama is this cost. I said, we are not aware. So we made our consultation, and after that call, we came up with a press release. So it was because of that. So this is good for the public to engage the police on concerns that are out there, because we can't be everywhere. So, and we've been always calling that any individual, if you have any concern, just call the police, even if you are not sure whether it's a crime or not. It will actually alert us, then we can see what is appropriate as far as the incident is concerned.
Thank you. Absolutely. I mean, it's very important for us to engage you on this topic, safety and security during this fasting period. It's important for us to discuss this because security is key at this during this time. It's key every day, but especially a month like Ramadan. We are very soon we will talk about Korite. So a lot of activities happen. So let's talk about some of the security measures that the police is taking. I mean, to make sure the public are safe and their properties are safe.
Thank you very much. I think it's important at this point to also inform you this morning. I was awakened by usually our reports of police activities. I also was aware that there is a report on Fatu Network indicating that there has been an alleged murder in Brusubi. So we also received this report as we speak, because I know colleagues, journalists would be contacting me soon after this, but I just wanted to put it out there that yes, this is true. And our men are already on the ground. They are doing their investigation. The CSI, the crime scene investigators, are already on this, and we've engaged relevant stakeholders as far as this investigation is concerned. We just want to tell the public to not to panic. We understand that yes, of recent we have been seeing a lot of incidents of similar nature, but it's part of the responsibility of the police to respond to this when they do happen. Primarily, our responsibility is to prevent. That is to protect life and property. And in this case, it is alleged that someone came in, or a number of people. It has not been confirmed, like I said, how many people are involved, whether it's a one person or so, but investigation is ongoing, and hopefully at the end of the investigation we'll be able to come out with a comprehensive report to tell the public what actually happened, that this person was found in his house and he was allegedly murdered. Some articles were stolen, an amount of money also, which we cannot verify at the moment.
At Burfoot Heights,
Burfoot, yes. So officers, as we speak, are on the ground to be able to ascertain it, and also be able to apprehend alleged suspects. So at the moment, we cannot go into details of all of that, since the investigation is ongoing at the moment, yes. Coming back to your, it has that link between your question, because it's about safety, it's about the people. Even before the Ramadan, we've witnessed so many incidents of criminal activities. Of recent are the armed robberies, in Banjul and the rest. And before that, the Gambia Police Force had a press conference where the Inspector General of Police, committed his institution and his resources to the Gambian in ensuring that we do everything possible to prevent this from happening. But wherein we can't prevent it from happening, that we will actually hunt them down, and we will apprehend them, and we will prosecute them. And I think recently we've seen that happening, where incidents like that, where we are unable to prevent, we actually apprehend them. And the recent one are those who were involved in the Access Bank incident, and the Farato robbery, and also the Banjul robbery. They were all apprehended, investigated, and prosecuted. They are currently, others are serving their term, others are still under remand, while investigation and prosecution is ongoing. So this is what is happening. After that, the Gambia Police Force has also collaborated with the Banking Association of the Gambia, where almost all banks in this country are a part of, to have an understanding and see how best the Gambia Police Force can provide security for banks. Yes, because we understand that mostly they have the private security who might not have the wherewithal you know, to respond to armed robbers when they do come. So for this reason, the armed wing of the Gambia Police Force, commonly known as the PARAS, you know, PIU officers, would be deployed within the banks, the environment of the banks, and also on patrol. So this all together is to mitigate that. And also recently, if you've been observant, on the highway patrol vehicles, those who are using the OIC road, you would realize that things have changed. Usually you only see the highway patrol, but of recent, we've also boosted them with armed officers. We have PIU officers who are on board the same vehicle. Yeah, because for the response, when you're talking about a response,
the vehicle that actually stopped us the other day.
Yes, you know. So we have armed people, them not just the mobile traffic who would only be there to check papers, but also we have armed men on the vehicle in the event that there is need for quick response with arm. You know, it's easier. So all of this thing is towards ensuring that the maintenance of peace, you know, in this country, and also reassuring the public that the Gambia Police Force would do everything possible in its capacity to provide the security that is required.
So how do you ensure the police to provide, I mean, smooth traffic flow during suhoor and iftar time?
Yes, we understand that because it's a rush hour in the Gambia. When you're going to work and when you're closing, and because of Ramadan, we understand that our colleague females would close a bit earlier than men, and which means anytime after 1 to 2, people are on the run. And it is the time that the mobile traffic unit of the Gambia Police Force is boosted to also understand that it's rush hour and not just every little. You know, you understand many times the drivers and the traffic officers, you know, that we consider drivers may make mistakes on traffic because people are rushing, but for them to also understand that it's the occasion and the situation, and during which period, yes, we are not saying that we have to idle out and, okay, ignore violation of traffic per se, but there are certain mistakes that would happen, and people would just understand that this is rush hour, and they would understand. And also, in as much as they are also doing that, is to look at the welfare of people, because when it is rush hour is when the prices of, you know, abruptly they just increase on the spot spontaneously. Because they will just look at, okay, there are a lot of people here, Brikama, and there is no vehicle. And the guy will just jump Brikama $50 or Brikama $100, and people will be rushing and all that. So, and it is our responsibility, it's the responsibility of the Gambia Police Force to maintain that, to ensure that all the regulations, all the rules, whether it's traffic, whether it's price hike or whatever, that is within the limits of the country. Yes.
So you mentioned, I'm glad that you mentioned the issue of the Access Bank Farato incident and that of Banjo. I am also happy for the fact that all the individuals that were involved were prosecuted, but give us details as to what really transpired, because there were rumors, you know, that they conspired with the bank officials or those that are working there, the staff and everything. What really transpired as far as those cases are?
Yes. For the Access Bank, it is still ongoing. The one that has been convicted was the Farato incident, who was taken to Brikama Magistrate Court, where he was convicted, actually. For the Access Bank, they are remanded and still in progress. So that has not concluded. Yet. So we wouldn't be able to get the details of that or go into the details of what actually happened. Yes, but once this is available, we would actually want to share that with the public. The other thing that happened recently is we've seen about a 60-year-old U.S. citizen who has been also convicted with firearm. It just goes to show the commitment of the government, the Gambia Police Force, that, you know, because we've seen a lot of incidents involving firearms. So it's no surprise that anybody who is found to have been in possession of that and taken to court, the court is going to be lenient with the person. So this is just an indication to the public and anybody else who would be involved in this that there is no leniency in this anymore. So he was actually fined 100,000 plus, failure of which he is going to serve about 10 years in prison. So this is a very strong stern warning to anybody, and we want to emphasize that. And this is why we even publish it. It's not usual of us to publish outcomes of, you know, court proceedings, but we understand that this is important for us as an institution, just to show the public that, you know, we're really serious about this and we will do everything. And fortunately, the courts also are helping us out in this, because it's a collaboration. The police can't do it all. We arrest, we investigate, we process them to the court. Then the court will determine the outcome of the judgment. And fortunately, this is a good thing. And that's what people have been always calling for. You know, the police would arrest X, Y, Z, and, you know, but fortunately, there is this collaboration now within the enforcement and also the judiciary, you know, because at the end of the day, that's the process.
Were you able to find out in your investigation how he was able to enter with those firearms into the country?
I'm not privy to the details. I do understand that this was during operations when they actually were able to get him or to get hold of the firearm in his residence. But the details as to how he came, how he actually got it in the country, that's a detail that I have not looked into. But also, I mean, he's an American citizen. And we all are aware of when it comes to gun handling system in America, it's like you just go to the shop and buy, just like the way you buy bread. You know, it's not the case in this country. Unfortunately, it's not also produced in this country. We don't produce. So anybody who has a gun here, except it's a local one, the cartouche and the others, then it's been imported or it's been brought in illegally in this country. The legal ones are with the security arm, the police, the military, and the rest of that. But apart from that, anybody else is not allowed in this country to own such a weapon.
What type of firearm was he having in possession?
Yes, I actually did not see the firearm, and I cannot tell you specifically whether it's a pistol or whether yes, but I think in one of the reports, the specific name is mentioned. I can't remember vividly, unless I get back to the source. Sure. Yes, but
okay. So still on security matters. I mean, like you mentioned, of recent there has been a lot of murder cases, you know, robberies and all of that. What is the police force doing as far as your night patrols is concerned? Because you launched that, you know, 2 years ago. But still, we've seen that there is an increase, especially around the Senegambia and other areas.
Yes, what actually would happen is this: if it's difficult sometimes to actually say increase. I stand to be corrected. There usually is a period of time where we see a surge in it, but it might not actually be an increase in terms of generality. You understand, of crime per se. As far as our records are concerned, actually the crime is actually reducing in terms of numbers generally. But the different types of crimes now we are seeing, like the armed robbery, is in the increase compared to the others. And the murder cases too, alleged murder cases, most of whom that we are aware, especially before the end of 2024 to 2025, most, if not all, are related to domestic violence. We have seen where a sister and a brother, you know, fought and eventually murdered each other. We also seen where a husband and a wife, the wife murdered the husband, allegedly. So we've seen some of those. But also, yes, we've seen incidents where criminal activities led to that. A typical example of the woman who was found in Serekunda, Welingara, who was found in the house and was murdered, allegedly. And yesterday, the one who is found at Brusubi. These are realities, you understand. It's just for people to know this so people can understand that. Because the Gambia Police Force wouldn't be able to exclusively provide 100% security for every citizen. It's not possible because we can't be everywhere at every point in time. So it is important that as individuals, generally, we take our security in our own hands primarily.
Now, how is that? How do people go about that? Does it mean that they need to be armed wherever they are?
No,
what should they do?
Yes, firstly, is your environment. Okay. You understand? You really need to understand your environment. You need to understand the people you are with. You also have to understand that you don't have to expose yourself in a situation where you would be a target. Because these criminals would actually, firstly, in environment, they will be looking at who is this person, compound, belongings. We know that people break into people's house, take their televisions, take whatsoever. You understand? And mostly, if you also look at the trend of criminal activities in the country, mainly they are related in one way or the other to the victim. Either you are a staffer, like you work for the victim. You remember the British man?
Yes.
The lady too, you know, who the driver and also the is a boyfriend or whatsoever. So in essence, they actually know this person. So there's been this relationship, that trust between you and this individual. You understand? And this is where, so we have also said that, especially people who are coming to the Gambia who are investing in this country, and it's important for them to we wouldn't, I don't know how to say this, but kind of background checks into people that you employ, especially domestically in your compound, especially when you are not related to them, it's just because of job. It's important so that you can be able to determine. And we understood that case, the mother wasn't actually a Gambian per se. It was somebody who came here, working for somebody also who came here, you know, and eventually mother wanted to take the vehicle, sell it and travel or whatsoever. So what I'm trying to say is, like, we need to look at this, because most of the cases that we have been seeing of recent in relation to murder are 80 to 90% people of trust relationship. Is either by blood or work. Look at the domestic violence. Man and a husband and a wife, sister and a brother, you know, an employer and an employee. And now you are suggesting that even the Access Bank, maybe there is a collabo inside. So you can imagine what I'm trying to get at. So in general, that's it. And I think it's important that we are aware of this. And look at the cases also where we have these petty thefts. You know, mobile phone, bags and all that. So, but where do they happen usually? It's either in overly crowded environment,
in the market,
or lonely places, because where they confront you directly with a knife or a cutlass and say, bring your phone or bring your bag. And the best we can advise them is give your phone, because you can get another phone. Give your bag, you can get another bag. But if that cutlass hits you, anything is possible. So also in crowded areas. So what we ask for people in those circumstances are this: avoid going alone. Avoid going environment where it's so isolated at a time that, you know, where you might not be able to get help if you need help. Good. Also, in marketplaces, busy places, is that whenever you are going in busy places, don't be holding your phone in your hands. But surprisingly, also of recent, I have heard that you be driving in a vehicle, you place your bag or your phone.
They come and just snatch
in your vehicle. Before you know it, they just picked it. You know. So what are we saying? We are also advising that when you're
sometimes you can be a passenger. Just next to the window, your phone is like this in a vehicle. They can snatch your phone and do away with it.
So it's important that people are aware of all of these things, and people are telling us what happened. And because when people tell us what happened, is then we know how they operate. So we can also share with the public to understand that this is how they operate, so that people can be careful, because that's their job. For them, it's like you are seated here doing your job. For them to early morning, they just get up and, okay, today who am I going to steal from? How am I going to steal from? How? So in that case, and it has always been said that the criminal is always one step ahead of, you know, the security in one way or the other. But that is just to say, this is why it is our responsibility as a police force is to prevent from happening. And we can't be everywhere. We can't be in people's households. We can't be in people's compound. Even if we want to, we don't have the resources to put police officers in every compound in this country. This is why we have, you said, operations. We have the patrols, night patrols, we have day patrol. And we have, for information, we now don't only have night patrols. Okay, we now have patrol 24 hours. Okay, and also with sister forces, with the military, with immigration, with fire, with all the services in this country. It's a joint patrol.
I've been seeing fire service, I mean, in the patrol team, and other sister forces as well.
So if we get the numbers, and secondly, every security personnel of this country has basic training on weapon and everything. So we almost all have basic training. It's when we have our individual specialized training in policing, how to handle cases, that could be different. But weapon and others, we all have that training, whether it's SIS, we call it NIA, whether it's Drug Law Enforcement Agency, whether everybody. This is why we are able to join together to get the numbers, because at the end of the day, it's for the country. It's the maintenance of the country. So this is what is happening. And that has been enforced. And we had a meeting, I think a few weeks ago, regionally, each regional command, that is the commissioner, the the operation and all of that were in fact at the police headquarters, where there has been a sit down on what is the way forward as far as security is concerned in the region. Because we've seen that, yes, it used to be the Greater Banjul area, but no more. No more the Greater Banjul area.
It's the rural area.
Now it's almost everywhere.
Yeah.
It's almost everywhere. So it means that we also have to augment that. We have to augment their capacity. And unfortunately, the government came to our help. You know, also gave us resources, especially financial resources, to be able to support the ongoing operation right now, because it's a national thing. Everybody's affected, you know, in one way or the other. And anyone of us can be a victim. And that's the sad part. This is why let us not just see it as the Gambia police thing. Let's see it as, you know, the Gambia, because the security of this country, you know, if you see you coming to QTV here and hosting me, you have the capacity to move from, you know, the peace and everything.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And there is another thing, I don't know whether you observed it, it's the fact that now a lot of people will go with, you know, arms to protect themselves, because, I mean, clearly, the other day I was in a vehicle and I had this conversation, and I was surprised to know that a lot of people in that vehicle actually had something with them to actually protect themselves in case if there is any attack or whatsoever. And I was really concerned. I was like, okay, is this now a trend that is happening in the country? Has that come to your notice?
Not really, but I think it's a very important point that you raised this, because people who are doing this should know that it is illegal first to be armed in public. Because what happens is you can unfortunately have an unplanned altercation with somebody. Before you know it, you already have something on you. You use it against that person. When that was not the intention, when you were like, okay, let me keep this in case somebody attacks me. But you know, you might become the person who would actually inflict this on somebody. So firstly, it is illegal for any individual to be with any kind of weapon in public. You understand? That is important to know. But also we need to understand there is a difference. Sometimes you would also find people who are going with their wheelbarrows, they have their cutlass and all that. We don't consider them as armed in public, because that's a tool that they are using on their normal walk. You understand? People need to understand that. You can get a taxi driver or in a taxi and you see somebody with cutlasses and all that. You're like, no, the police, this one is armed in public. No, he's going about his own business and all. Unless if he has intention, when he actually does something, is we determine whether he has intention to do this. How do we know that? The investigator will handle that. Yes.
Yeah. So pepper spray considered as an
exactly.
Because most of the ladies will go with it in their bags.
Yeah, at this moment, I think I will actually have to come back with an appropriate answer on that, because it's difficult. Now, how do we do pepper spray? Is because the pepper spray is for self-defense. The knife equally can be intended for self-defense and all that. But to give you a satisfactory answer, I think I will have to check with my guys.
The last time I checked,
it's new. This is new. It's coming. New. Everybody, people are buying it. You know, people are buying it and using it. But what for us at the Gambia Police Force, what we are saying to our staff is that yes, it are supplied, because you would see police officers with knives, ropes, weapons, and all that. But we supply, because that's government supplied. Whatever is supplied, it is supplied for you to use. But anything that you go and buy for yourself, you use it on somebody else, it's not authorized. You know what I'm trying to say? So if we are saying that to the police, then imagine the individual.
Well, the last time I checked, something that has to do with pepper spray, I mean, it's not allowed when I checked it, you know. But people are using it now to protect themselves. But I think the Gambia Police Force should make something, sort of an investigation, or go through their papers again to see whether it's allowed.
No, it's different. What I'm trying to say is like, we actually arrested an individual, a prominent member in this country, who was into business of selling this. Arrested. You understand what I'm saying? Arrested and is, you know, confiscated.
Then it's not allowed.
You understand what I'm trying to say? You know, sometimes it's the way we put the question, because it's like, if I have a pepper spray with me as a self-defense, you know what I'm trying to say?
Thank you, PRO. We've exhausted the whole time, and my director is just on my ears. I mean, time. All right. So thank you, PRO,
but
for.
Yeah, we would like to have more of this, especially on the issue of the pepper spray, to know actually.
So let me just conclude by saying,
Yes.
if we are able to confiscate somebody who is in business into selling that automatically tells you that the use of that
it's illegal.
Is not proper, it's not appropriate at all. Just so that everybody can hear this.
Yes, thank you very much, PRO, for sharing that with us and our viewers as well. So at this point, we'll take a short break. After the break, then we will review the newspapers. We'll be right back.
QMoney is back again with its easy-to-use, secure and convenient mobile app that allows you to carry out all your transactions. No matter where you are or what time it is, you can always access your funds. With the new QMoney app, you can cash in and out, buy credit, buy QPower, shop, make payments, and so much more. You can also send QMoney, pay bills, receive international remittances, and transfer cash to others. Just download the app from your Play Store or App Store and get started. For more information, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Sinu Kalpe. We innovate, others follow.
QMoney arti webi na fitoragol no yawi te non kadi no moƴƴi QMoney a wawa wadde piji ɗin fow kala ko wonɗa wattu kala a wawa hendade mbuɗi maɗin e o QMoney app kesong a wawa nattinde mbuɗi ma ɗum yaltina soda credit soda QPower soda ko falaɗa te non kadi wawa hen yoɓude himɓe e ko heewi ida wawi kadi nuldude QMoney yoɓa bilji maɗin te non kadi hendoɗa mbuɗi ko yaasi nulda himɓe kadi mbuɗi fi nafitoragol ɗum no weeɓi yahu ka Play Store ma ɗum ka App Store fi wawa fuɗɗade fi heɓugol hen ko laaɓi noddu QMoney customer care e 133 QMoney suñu kalpe minen udditi lawol ngol si woɓɓe jokki QMoney e muruntananne koteke anilañi mobile app sone yaringo a lannayata ndun e se kuwol be keno ibe dawoda wati o wati e se munafanno ila kodola anin QMoney la ñim mobile app kuto e se kodo dundino ye kodo fintinde e se credit ko sanno ye QPower sang ye fengol sang ndun fanan e se mol jono anin ku jamalu e se QMoney kino yela bilol jo ndun fanan bantala banko se kodo kiyeno e se kodo fanan kino do kotenge pour que munafanyina a download sign Play Store anin App Store ni laftaka kusenango soto je QMoney customer care commandi 133 QMoney suñu kalpe ntolle nga silo walang dole mol noma QMoney delsina ak sen mobile app bu bees bi orna gawna te it mun nga ko jëfandikoo pour def ci lo bëgga fo mun di ne wattu bu ne mun nga jot sa xaalis ak QMoney mobile app bu bees bi mun nga dugal xaalis génne xaalis jënd si credit jënd si QPower jënd lo bëgga ak yu bari mun nga ci yónnee QMoney fay sa bill si jot xaalis bitim réew yónnee xaalis ci noo ko bëggee looy def yomba na downloadal app bi léegi ca Play Store bu dul loolu App Store pour nga door pour am si lu leer koolal QMoney customer care si 133 QMoney suñu kalpe ñoo xaali yoon wi ñeneen toppa
QCell's Q.
Wow, viewers yang la dega. Viewers yi dega nañ la ya ngeen ñun xalé yi we are rotten to the core. Yo ya ko dega nañ ko
dega nañ la di
ñun dañ dem bi affaire ci je ñu dega you are rotten to the core. Xam nga bu nekké suura ñun war dañ la mëna su légui ñu yobul la ko.
No, way ken degul ma wax na yeen.
No, why rotten to the core?
Wow, why ken xamul lan lay wax? What's the subject?
ñun la nekk di wax ñun xalé yi. So we are back and you are watching QTV this morning and we will review the papers with Mr. Momodu Mboj before we close this program. And on the Standards newspaper, Army explains General Bora Koli's death in custody. The Army is out with their press release talking about the death of General Bora Koli in custody. As you know, when you talk about Bora Koli, the mental picture that it shows you, it tells you is during the time of former President Yahya Jammeh, and they were among the people that allegedly committed a lot of atrocities, So now here, he died in custody, Mr. Mboj. Mixed feelings.
Well, I'm not sure what you mean by mixed feelings. What are the facts? Person is dead. So what would the investigations reveal? We do not know. Would they carry an autopsy? One certainly hopes so, because the person died in custody. And then we'll find out what happened. You know, you call it mixed feelings. Well, I call it perhaps unfortunate that we really never had the opportunity to test all these allegations in court. You know, it would have been better, really, in the interest of justice, to test these allegations in court. Never had the opportunity to do that.
Some of them are tried in Germany.
Yeah, but this particular one,
individual,
not quite tested here. And he was mentioned really in some gruesome, grotesque contexts. So, unfortunately, we've not had the opportunity to test them. And we'll also want to know what happened. How did he die? You know, natural causes or what?
Absolutely. Another NAM is saying, NAM is appealing for the release of Bora Koli's body to the family. You know, that is left to the, you know, I mean, those responsible to decide on that.
Absolutely. I'm not sure what this NAM is trying to prove here. I take it that there are certain procedures that the authorities must follow.
Absolutely.
So let them follow the procedures, and then we do what we need to do. I'm not sure what the NAM's view, what his statement, what that might add to whatever is going on, really. I don't think it's very relevant right now.
Because already the Minister for the Attorney General and Minister for Justice has requested for an inquest to actually know the exact cause of the death for Bora Koli before actually handling him to his family. So, like you mentioned, things need to be done. These are rules and regulations and procedures that need to be followed before actually that can happen. I mean, it's rather too early for me to say that. It's rather too early for her to actually request for that or to make an appeal.
Absolutely. I think it is premature.
Yeah.
There are certain things that we must do first before releasing the body, obviously.
So, I mean, the Independent Electoral Commission is preparing for a by-election in Halfdai, Banjul, after the disappearance of the NPP councillor, you know, on a visit to Belgium, according to what this message is saying. Disappearing, I mean, leaving public office without any information because of a trip to, you know, another part of the world. I mean, what does this mean to our country and responsibilities giving to people?
I wouldn't extrapolate too much from that because I do not have the details. Just as you said, a person disappeared. We do not know where this person is. So what can we say about that? We do not know the motives. We do not know where he is. So we don't have much information to think that somehow this sort of casts some kind of doubt or whatever perspective it might cast on the Gambia. I think that's a bit too much. You know, that's an overkill.
Well, it's an overkill, but I mean, sometimes before you get to that point, you need to know where the wind is blowing, Mr. Mamadou Mbodj. We've seen instances where people absconded because of a certain thing. I mean, we've seen trips that are given to people and they abscond. So once the IEC is talking about a by-election, obviously you have to understand something like that is really ringing.
Yes, let's be careful here. We're confusing two things here. Yes, I'm sure the IEC, they've got their own rules. If a ward member, a councillor or MP is absent for a certain period or we do not know, I'm sure they have their own rules regarding that. That's why they've come
when to organize a by-election.
By-elections, that's it. So they follow that. So now they've decided that there will be a by-elections, granted. But the reasons why this so-called person has he absconded, you know, we're using these terms. Well, for me now, I don't have the information to say that he's absconded. I wouldn't know, you know what I mean? So they haven't seen him fine. Whatever reasons, we'll find out. The IEC, they're following their own rules, so they've decided that there'll be by-elections, so we just follow that. And this is it. For me, it doesn't go beyond this at all.
So another story on the front paper of Foreign newspaper saying internal auditor alleges unjustifiable 300,000 payment to mayor of Banjul. It's unjustifiable. This means they don't know, they cannot ascertain, they cannot give us something concrete how this 300,000 was paid.
Yes, then. So now what have they done?
What have they done?
Once we've decided this is the case, now what next? Is it that they will expect the mayor to justify that 200,000? I do not know. Let them. We need more info once again. So because with these things, you just cannot form any judgment based on these snippets of information. So that is the case. What is going on? I'm sure that the process will continue, and we'll try to explain, as it were, this $300,000.
Mr. Momodu Mboja, I mean, it's just unfortunate and very funny sometimes just to see, you know, a chunk of money just disappeared like that without even a justification or without even a proper explanation. I mean, so I mean, it's really sad to see such kind of things happening in this day and age, where is the digitalization, where is moving from analog to digital. We talk about it all the time.
Sometimes you even get the flagrant financial mismanagement, because we've been hearing from the Commission of Inquiry on these local authorities, and you know, the evidence been coming in. I mean, unbelievable, appalling behavior. We've seen all of that. You're talking about digitalization. Any system is as good as the people. Really? The machine cannot come and make us good people. You know, the machine doesn't use us. We use the machine. You know what I mean? And all of these things. So any system is as good as really the people. Look at our roads. I love giving this example, especially Bertil Harding Highway. To be quite honest, in area you've got all the signs, the road signage, everything is there. Who cares about them? You see what happens on the roads. So you can have all of these things, but they're as good as the people.
Absolutely.
That's it. So the so-called innovation, technological innovation, it will only work insofar as we allow it to work. We are the ones using it. So technology on its own cannot do anything without the people. Really? It's as simple as that.
Absolutely. I mean, I totally agree with you on that point. I mean, we can have all these technologies, innovations and whatever, but if people are not ready to comply with them, I mean, it's useless.
Absolutely.
So I think it's important for people to be ready to take off these initiatives. I mean, the issue of corruption is something so wide and so complex in a sense that even though if they digitalize the mode of, you know, operation and everything and how things are done, I mean, if people want to be corrupt, they can always take public funds. I mean, they have a way of doing it. I mean, like you said, these are technologies, these are machines that people operate. I mean, they can't operate on their own. Someone has to be there to actually regulate them in order for them to operate. So it's complex.
Why procure the machines if we know we are beating the system at some point? We don't have to waste our finances.
It's a good thing that you have the machines. That's how the world works now, because you want to be connected globally.
It's a good thing to have the machines and they become useless?
No, they wouldn't become useless. We will find that in some sectors, in some areas, it's working well, but perhaps not in others. So you're not going to have this uniform, as it were, behavior across sectors. Human beings are not like that. You do well in some areas, perhaps not so well in other areas. That's how it is. But it's good for us to have these machines, this technology, put everything in place, and then we work on our attitude, we work on ourselves, how to adapt essentially adapting to modernity, really. How to adapt to modernity so that these things will benefit the country, at large, as it were, the common weal, the common good, So it's just a matter of disciplining
It is what
ourselves.
it is.
Transport Union pushes to transparent transport regulations amid fare hikes.
Oh, another one.
Transport Union, man, legi dama wedi guy. Start na the wedi Transport Union.
Why?
Because at the end of the time, we've been having problems in this country. And they will come talk about it. We are putting all our plans. It will work. Maybe in the next 3 months it will work. It did not work. Transport is one of the hardest things to get in this country.
I don't think we are in problem as such. It's just that sort of this is what happens with employer-employee unionism. Once in a while, you're going to have these tussles. Well, this is how democracy works. Once in a while, and unions, taking care of their own members and how they will argue with authorities, be it over the price of fuel, be it over all sorts of things. So this is normal democratic behavior. For us, what we really need to focus on is our conflict resolution mechanisms. Are they working? When issues emerge, do you sort them out and move on? You don't want a paralyzed, as it were, transport, that sort of thing. So it's just a question of, do you have your mechanisms working that would resolve conflict? Because conflict would inevitably come. In any relationship, once in a while, what do we say about the tongue and the teeth? But once in a while, so conflict will always come.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that conflict? That is the secret. But it will always emerge.
The issue of law enactment, coming up with new regulations and all of that, we know that for a fact that we are not a country that respects laws, rules, and regulations. So, it's a matter of changing attitude. It's the attitudinal problem that we have in this country. They can come up with all this. There was an initiative about these stickers on cars, vehicles, where you're allowed to fly from Banjul to Brikama, Westfield, Tabokoto, and
zoning.
It did not work.
Absolutely, they called it zoning. They were working on it, but I'm not sure whether they had. It is very difficult. I think it's a bit unfair. Just as you said, the laws, we just love drafting. There are so many laws and regulations and all the rest of it. How do we comply? How do we implement? We know that also. In the beginning, we are very good at starting things.
Thank you.
We'll start implementing.
Mr. Momodou Mbodj. But unfortunately, time is jena. We'll be back here tomorrow. Julden Jai, thank you. Thank you very much for sharing the platform with me and Mr. Mbodj. Mr. Mbodj,
where is my Turkish delight? Container Turkish delight.
At this point, we'll say thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day.
Money Delsina ak sen mobile app bu bees bi orna gawna te it mun nga ko jëfandikoo pour def ci lo bëgg fo mun di ne waxtu bu ne mun nga jot sa xaalis ak Money mobile app bu bees bi mun nga dugal xaalis génné xaalis